What's up guys, Tim here. So today we're doing a little bit of work at the shop. I've actually got to build a pressure tester gauge for my gas line. I went to the inspection office the other day and paid to have a gas pressure test done. Basically what it is, it's been so long since the building has had natural gas that they need to pressure test the lines and make sure there's no leaks. That way it's safe, and I understand this. But what I didn't understand was after the inspector came out, he called me and said, hey, there's no gauge on the pipe. And I was like, well, yeah, you guys gotta do your pressure test. And that's when he said, oh, well, we don't actually have the equipment to do the test. You have to have that hooked up and we just come out and look at it. So I was like, okay. I thought you guys would have it, but that's all right. And he was like, yeah, a lot of people just assume that we have it since we're the ones coming to do the pressure test. But in reality, we just come out and make sure it's holding at least 5 pounds of air, and then we write it off as good, and then the gas company can come out and do their thing. So anyway, a buddy of mine's a contractor. I called him. He actually has a pressure gauge, but he can't find it. So I decided to do a little brainstorming, and I went to Lowe's and bought some stuff, and we're gonna see if we can put together a homemade pressure gauge that will test the air pressure in the gas lines, and we'll be able to see if it holds the pressure or if I have any leaks that I need to address before I call the inspector back out. All right, almost to the shop. Let's fast forward real quick. All right, so we are at the shop and I got my little table set up. I'm gonna set everything out that I need, and oh, and I gotta grab some Teflon tape and some pipe joint compound. I think that'll do. So let's see what all we got here. Okay, so we've got a 1-inch slip to thread adapter. So this is actually gonna go on the 1-inch pipe that I have coming out of the building. That's my natural gas line. A bushing adapter which goes from 1-inch to 1/2 inch threaded, and it's gonna go inside this, the pipe thread tape. We have a gauge. We're only gonna be using like 5 to 10 pounds, so this gauge goes to 60. This is a 1/4 inch coupler. This is a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch bushing, 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch, a 1/4 inch T-fitting, and we have a little Schrader valve, which actually I found this at Lowe's with the water well supplies. I wanted to show you this one because this was the thing that was hard to find. If you don't get one there, you can go to AutoZone. It's basically like what you'd find in a car tire. It's actually called a Schrader valve, so put your air chuck on there and air comes out this way. I also have some pipe thread sealant. We can use that in place of the tape on certain parts, and of course some PVC cement. Now we'll go ahead and start by putting this together. This is the 1-inch to 1/2 inch coupling, and this is a 1-inch to 1-inch slip to thread adapter. Just put a little bit in there, and we'll put a little bit on here as well. Okay, just push this together. There we go. Coming out of this, we're going to do the 1/2 inch adapter. All right, we got our heavy duty Teflon tape here. You got to be careful and make sure you go the right direction whenever you're putting Teflon tape on something, because if you go the wrong direction, whenever you start to screw it in, it'll actually peel the tape off. When I go to tighten it in, it's going to just push the tape down, so it won't unravel it. That's very important. This actually uses a 7/8 wrench to tighten, so we'll just snug that on down. That ought to hold. Okay, next out of this, I'm going to take our 1/4 inch coupling, and it's going to go right into here. Just wrap it this direction. A couple of wraps ought to be good. Go ahead and put some Teflon on the other side here. Alright, so that looks good. Again, this is a 1/4 inch T-fitting, so what we're going to do is put that right onto here. We've already got thread tape on this side, so we're good. We'll just tighten this down. The closest fit I got for a wrench was actually a 18mm, strange enough. So if we have any leaks, we can always go back and put a wrench on this and tighten it all, but it may be pretty good. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna have the 1/4 inch adapter, which the Schrader valve will end up going into, and that's all going to go on the end here. Okay, so we got our Teflon tape on that. Go ahead and put that in here, and then put some Teflon on here, and we'll put this in here. Alright, now let's tighten all this down. I believe a 11mm actually fits this. Alright, and then we'll put our gauge right here. Put a little bit of Teflon on this gauge as well. Alright, and then the gauge is just going to screw right onto here. You want to be careful not to turn too hard holding the gauge itself, so I'm just going to snug it and then put a wrench right here. And a 9/16 fits that. Alright, looks pretty good. Okay, so now we've got it all put together. So essentially this is how this is going to work. This threads onto the pipe. I've got a 1-inch pipe coming out of the wall. This is going to screw onto that, okay? We will put a little pipe thread, sealant, or Teflon tape on the pipe before we put this on there. Underneath this top, like I showed you earlier, it's just like a valve stem coming out of your car tire or bicycle tire. So we'll put our air in here. This is screwed onto the pipe that goes into the building for the gas lines. Once it pressurizes the lines, builds up pressure here, we'll see the dial start going. And what we're gonna watch for, we're gonna fill it up to about 10 pounds and then just see if any of the air leaks back out. If it leaks out, then we know we have a possible leak if the gas were to be hooked up, which means we'd have a gas leak, and that's bad. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing this whole thing, is basically just to make sure that all the pipes in the building are sealed and secured and nothing has a hole in it, that there's no leaks anywhere, that we would know it's safe to get the gas turned on. So then we call the inspector. He comes out tomorrow and he'll look at this and say, yep, it's holding pressure, and then we're good and we can have heat. So anyway, let's go outside and try it out. Okay, so I've got it mounted on the building here. Okay, so I've got the gauge mounted. I put some Teflon tape on the pipe that was coming out of the building. Tightened this up with a wrench a little bit. Double checked all my connections here, and we're about to put some air on it. So one nice thing about Hummers is they have an onboard air compressor on some of them. All I gotta do is turn this on and let it rip. Oh, we got some movement. All right, let's do 10. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so far it's holding. It's got 10 pounds of pressure in it. All right, so I'm gonna give it about 30 minutes. We're gonna come back out and check it and see if it's still at 10 pounds. If it is, then we know we're good. And I can call the inspector back tomorrow, let him come and look at it and see if he's cool with that. So overall success so far. Come back out in a little while and see if it's still holding. So, all right.